edition of the YourLiveEvent.com Coaches Show here on this Wednesday night, a day before Halloween. So happy trick-or-treating to you out there as well. I'm Chase Miller, the YourLiveEvent.com Coaches Show, brought to you in part by the Hillsboro Economic Development Corporation. This week on the program, we'll talk with Kirk Zink as the Hillsboro-Central Valley girls cross-country team won a state title as a team. Also, individualist honors as well. We'll hear from Coach Kirk Zink coming up around the corner. From there, Taylor Preston, the Fargo Shanley Deacon volleyball team, they've been atop of the EDC volleyball conference throughout the entirety of the year. They square off with the West Fargo Cheyenne Mustangs tomorrow night, then have a couple more matches before they get ready for the EDC tournament. The Deacons flying high right now here in October. From there, we'll hear from Miss Turner from the Kittson County Central Volleyball Club, Kathleen Rustad from Hawley Volleyball, and alongside Lisa Strand of the Thompson Tommy Volleyball teams as well after their matches from last night. And then we'll get to our senior spotlight with Desire Masiri from the West Fargo Packers, the EDC Gatorade also Senior Athlete of the Year in North Dakota. We'll hear from him coming up a little bit later on. Again, this is the YourLiveEvent.com Coaches Show. Let's sit down with Kirk Zink here from the Hillsboro-Central Valley Burros, who had an opportunity to speak with our own James Martins.
On the Your Live Event Coaches Show this week, we are in the midst of fall postseason activities on the North Dakota side of the river, Minnesota side as well. We're back on the North Dakota side as we wrap up a year of cross country, chatting with the Hillsboro-Central Valley head girls cross country coach in Kirk Zink. And Kirk, heck of an accomplishment on Friday. You talked with our very own Greg Grenz on the KRJB radio side, but now that it's all settled in after a weekend of celebratory events, I'm sure, walk me through how it feels.
Yeah, it was something special. It talked to a lot of the parents, a lot of fans, a lot of alumni, people around the program, and we've been awfully fortunate for the last 15 years, and we've been able to do this quite a few times, and this was different though. There were scenarios in the past where we just might have been just better than everybody else, just naturally more talented, to where you went in with maybe a little bit more stress, maybe a little bit more pressure, maybe a little more feeling of just I want to get this over and don't want to screw it up or ruin some kind of streak. And I hate the idea of that. I'm a massive opponent of any idea like that. I tell the kids all the time that when it gets to the point that you're excited for it to be over or excited that you didn't screw things up, I'm done. I'm done. It's just that's not what I want to be part of. And we went into this, we truly, not in any way trying to be modest, we were not a favorite. I don't know that I would go as far as to say we were much of an underdog either, but between us and Killdeer and Bowman and, on the right day, rugby, between those three primary teams, you could run this race 100 times and you're likely going to come up with 4 different winners, and the 3 of us are probably going to win it just about the same amount of times. We were fortunate. We got a couple breaks, but on the same token, we lost out on a couple breaks as well, and battled through and did what we need to do. And it was really good, both sides. Boys' side could have been a little bit better, and they know that, and it's a learning experience, and that's high school sports. Girls' side, I don't know if it could have been much better. It was a blast.
Of course, you mentioned right at the beginning, very beginning of the season, get used to the name Claire Grindy. And, we've talked about her a lot over the last few weeks on various platforms, but she delivered once again when it mattered most, state champion for the first time since 2019, as far as Hillsboro-Central Valley is concerned, and a 32-second gap as well.
Yeah, I mean, she's the real deal. And we talked a little bit over the weekend that, there's got to be some different things that take place next year. It's got to be the kind of thing that I'm not a big fan of somebody winning 6, 7, 8 meets in a year. And some people might hear that and take that the wrong way. But you certainly should not. It's not the kind of thing that we want that stuff to happen. I'd much rather have kids go out and find bigger and better and more elite competition and maybe take a couple losses throughout the year. There's nothing wrong with that at all. We don't want to take losses in October, but we would love to take losses early and We did. We took her down to Augie Twilight and ran her in the 4K there. I'm going to guess that's the last 4K or 3K she's ever going to run in her life, and we got her some really good competition there. And then, at GRIAC, she got beat. But everybody gets beat at GRIAC. You trot 500 kids out in a race. There's 499 losers, if you want to look at it that way. But some of these things, we got to run her in the bigger, better divisions and just see what she can do. She's 18 mid now. There's absolutely no reason she's not a sub 18-minute kid next year. It wouldn't surprise me a bit to see her go 17:30. And the only way that can happen is to find that kind of competition that's going to push her to 17:30. And we talk all the time that you can't really hardly compare one race to another race and year to year to year, and you really can't do that unless those kids compete on the same course on the same day against each other. And the reason for that is, Claire goes out and runs 18:50 or whatever she ran on Friday. And I'd be the first to tell people, I truly think she'd go 45 or 60 seconds faster if she needed to. We're at a point in the season where we're not running for time. We're running for wins. We're running for places. And, you sneak a peek somewhere through the middle of the race and you see you got a 30-second gap. I don't know. I don't know a lot of kids that are going to go try to run 18 minutes when you can run 18:50 and win it. And again, that's no knock at her or the competition or anything. It's just a scenario of we have beaten into these kids' heads that at this point in the year, you're not trying to run PRs. If you could, terrific. If it's going to generate an additional place or 2 or 5 or 10, great. But on the same token, we're going out there to place, to score as low as possible, and I'm excited to see what she can do going forward with the right kind of competition, and now that we know what we're doing with her.
Let's take a look again at the rest of the scoring 5 that you had. Again, you had 3 in the top 10 and another couple in the top 25. Looking down the list again, 5th place Caroline Anderson, who kind of been the running mate, the de facto best friend for Claire throughout all this. 9th place you had Aslan Johnson, who's had some really good finishes before, and then Mila and Lily Calder going right in front of each other at 24 and 20.
Yeah. It's crazy to think that you take Claire Grindy off the team and we are ranting and raving and hooting and hollering about how good Caroline Anderson is. For her to be mid 19 minutes as a 7th grader is outrageous. And I truly had zero concerns about her. She was battling a little injury stuff late in the year, but she's so ornery, so tough. I had almost no concerns about our 2 7th graders, which I don't know if that makes sense or not, but I can tell you one thing, you get to the point with some kids that they truly they start to overthink some things, and all of a sudden it's monotonous because they've done this 5 times or whatever else. And for those two 7th graders, they just run, they just go out and they compete, and there'll be somebody 10, 20 meters in front of them, and from a coaching standpoint, we'll ask them to surge, or we'll ask them to find a new running partner, or find a different spot in the middle where we can initiate that race within a race, and they'll do it. I mean, they just go and go and go and go, and they just don't. I don't think they truly realize what their ceiling looks like, what that potential looks like. And Aslan Johnson truly is no different. I mean, she's a 9th grader. She was terrific for us last year as an all-state runner. I don't remember exact place last year, high teens, maybe even 20. And she kind of snuck in as an all-stater. There's no sneaking anywhere with Aslan Johnson anymore. Those 3 little tiny blonde kids, they're gonna be a future for us. There's gonna be a lot of people in the East and all over North Dakota that get really sick of seeing those guys. And I love it. I love it, love it, love it. But on the same token, we've talked forever. We've talked all season long, especially late in the year, that it's not your 1 or 2 or maybe even your 3. They don't win the meet for you. They just don't. And the reason for that, somebody that doesn't understand cross country might question that and say it doesn't make sense. But Claire runs her absolute best race ever. She's first. She runs her absolute worst race ever. She's third or fourth. That doesn't win it for you because that peak and valley isn't swaying a lot of team points. It's your 3, your 4, your 5, maybe even sometimes your 6. If you're 4 and 5 on their best day can be 15 and on their worst day can be 50. Those are the kids that win the meets for you, and I know they were frustrated. I know both of them were frustrated, Mila and Lily, with 23 and 24 or 24 and 25 or whatever they were. But on the same token, they won the state meet for us. They just did. I've seen races over the last handful of years. And again, this is no knock at Mila at all. But I've seen races over the last 5 years that she just doesn't feel it, and she doesn't feel it. It's over. It's done. Rather than dropping back, if you will, to 24th, she's 60th, and she has a race like that where she still goes sub 21 minutes. Absolutely works her butt off for 5,000 meters, even though I'm guessing about 500 meters in, she could tell it wasn't her day. Like I said, if those two decide collectively to pack it in, we're done. We're not only second, we're probably third, maybe even fourth. So it was a full team effort. It was unbelievable. It was the most excitement I've seen in a while. You go back years and years and years. Bowman's girls last year, there was absolutely no need to keep track of score at the end. They blitzed everybody. Rugby for years beyond that, us for 8 years beyond that. There was never a need to have your phone out or your notepad out keeping track of scores mid-race because there was never a team battle. And this was unbelievable. I mean, unbelievable watching these kids run around and watching these coaches run around. And there was more math going on during this race than I've ever seen in my life, and a testament to where those things are at and the calendars coming through at the end. And, we only had 3 girls in the top 20, all 3 of those girls were in the top 9, but we only had 3 all-state girls. The other 2 teams both had 4 all-state girls, and it was our depth, it was our top end horsepower, and it was our lower end depth that won it for us. They had 4 in the top 20, but on the same token, their 5th was way back there for both of them. Their 5ths were in the 40s. Well, our 5ths were in the low to mid 20s. That makes a massive difference on the scoreboard. And it was the reason that, we won it by 20 or whatever it was. It was substantially closer than that. Let's just put it that way. Much closer than the scoreboard showed. And we're fine with that. A win's a win. And we are awfully, awfully happy with how it shook out on Friday.
Taking a quick step outside of the team performance before we talk about the boys, it almost seems like a good thing that you have those 3-4 other schools, the Rugbies, the Kildeers, the Bowman County, to give you that good in-state competition.
Yeah, absolutely. I know there's I know there's people that worry about their program and only their program and whatever. I love the fact that, since we started a program in 7 or 8 or whatever it was, there's a lot of local schools that have grown and gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. And I love that. I don't want to be the only decent program in the state of North Dakota and just hammer everybody. And, that's the way things were in the 70s. And we just don't want anything to do with that. I love the competitive part of it. We go out and run, if we ran that exact same way that we ran on Friday, if we had done that, but Bowman or Killdeer or somebody had run even better, it is what it is. I'm a huge fan of learning experiences, and these kids are in high school sports for a reason. And if we need to learn how to win with sportsmanship and grace, we got to learn how to lose with it too, and granted, I prefer the winning part of it, but it's the kind of thing you go out and compete, and as bad as it is an individual sport. 10 kids run, you take the top 5 scores, you add them up, and then all of a sudden it's a team sport. Well, the beauty that we have and Killdeer has and Bowman has is they have so much depth. They have so many practice partners. You take Bryn Hansen. Bryn Hansen was second. I don't know who she practices with. I'm guessing she practices with boys, or you've got a coach on a bike, or you've got something. It's just really nice to have other kids around your caliber, around your ability, around your age, similar mindset, similar culture, just to push you, just to make it enjoyable. Because outside of that, cross country is not a lot of fun. Winning is fun and traveling is fun and meets are fun and whatever. But outside of that, I can't imagine it's a lot of good times.
Quick notes here on the boys' side. Again, sixth place as a team. Nico Zink, your best finisher there in 12th. And take a look further on down the list. Ryland Buchholz finishing in 31st. Those are your top two scorers. But your thoughts on the rest of the boys?
Boys had an odd day. It's a weird course for slightly above average boys. And the reason for that is we're not talented enough. We're not talented enough to get out super, super fast out in front of everybody so you can avoid the packs. But on the same token, we need to stay back to the point where we're intelligent starters. We're in a nice rhythm. We're breathing right. But then we're getting boxed in. And that's what happened yesterday or Friday. And a little bit disheartening. You take a kid like Ryland Buchholz that's in terrific shape, crazy hard worker, ready to go fast, ready to go low, possibility on the right day to be an all-state kid, and just ran into some race management situations that he didn't handle very well, and we maybe didn't prepare him very well for. He could have been better. All of our boys could have been better, except probably Nico. This is the dad side of it and the coach side of it, and he ran really, really well. The dad side might be saying, yeah, he could have been 2 or 3 places higher. But the positive side of it, the coach side of it, he could have been 25 places lower, and his goal going in was he wanted to be an all-state kid, and he was, and it wasn't even close. Little bit like we talked about on the girls' side, I've seen races where, he doesn't look perfect at the 3-4K mark and he fizzles and fades. And he didn't, and that's what you like to see from a coach standpoint. Like it's what you like to see from a dad standpoint, and he maybe absolute best case scenario, he maybe had a chance to be 8th, 9th, something like that. Again, he also had a chance to be 50th, and if he had run like he ran the weekend before at regionals, he's probably 50th, so yeah, awful proud of that because he works hard. He's got a ton of talent. His sometimes just comes down to the mental part of it, realizing how talented that he is, and that's high school kids as a whole. That's the first hurdle they've got to get over is how talented that they actually are, and you got to walk in there realizing that type of thing and realizing I'm a top 5 kid or I'm a top 10 kid, and you got to compete like that and refuse to give up. But it was really nice to see him run like that. I was bummed for some of the boys, because like I said, they worked hard. Ryland Carlson ran a terrific race. Kid's a freshman, improves literally every single week. Going to be a stud. He's going to have 3 good years in front of him, and we got a good freshman class and a good junior class. You combine those two together, it looks great. But on the same token, you got to make those improvements as you get older on the boys' side. You just do, and I know they will.
Kirk, always good to see you again. First state championship since 2018, first individual championship on the girls' side since 2019. Boys finishing inside the top 10 as well. You mentioned it a little bit with tweaking the schedule a little bit, finding some more competition. But where else does your program go from here?
There's a handful of things that we need to do different going forward. We got to do some different things on the coaching side. Jensen is terrific. Lights out assistant coach for us to have. But we got a lot of really good, knowledgeable endurance people in Hillsboro that we've got to get involved, and almost feels like a waste if we don't. We've got some really, really good people that I hope we can get on our staff in the next year. I'm 50. This is super exciting and I love every bit of it, but I've made the comment 100 times. We got people in town that have forgotten more about distance running than I know, and I just want to get those guys involved. We had Spencer Rudke in quite a few times this year, training with Nico, and he's bonkers. We got to get him full-time involved whenever we possibly can do that. but there's a lot of them. There's coaches we've had around in the past where schedule changes have taken place. And us doing that, it allows us then the ability to split up varsity kids and JV kids and junior high kids and travel to various meets. I kind of feel like we did a disservice with our junior high kids this year just because we weren't able to do that. Because of that, then there's no reason that some of these incoming 7th and 8th graders should be practicing with Nico or Claire. The workouts got to be different, and they got to be more spread out, and they got to be more specialized towards those kids. And I don't want to be good this year and next year. I want to be good for 30 years. And I think you only do that if you've got the spread, if you've got the manpower, if you've got the coaching hours and energy to spread amongst those kids. And you get to a lot of these small Class B towns in Eastern North Dakota, they don't have anybody. So somebody that maybe doesn't know the sport works hard and jumps in, and they're YouTubing videos and the whole works, like I was 15 years ago. But we're at a point now we got those, and we need to take advantage of those guys. And that's only going to be a bigger and better asset to our program. And outside of that, things have been terrific though. School is super lenient in letting us do the travel stuff that we do and get the competition that we get. Our booster club is wild. Our booster club is unbelievable. The stuff that they do for our kids and our coaches and our parents. And so, yeah, I got absolutely zero I can complain about. The only thing we got to get better at is the coaching side. And that starts and stops with me.
Well, I tell you what, Kirk, I would not have guessed 50. That's the first thing I'm going to say. You look great for that much experience. We'll put it.
I don't feel a day over 70.
Kirk, anything else you want to mention here in the coaches show?
No. Again, I've said it 1,000 times, but we do appreciate the publicity more than you guys know, and the kids love it. They'll pretend like they don't like doing the interviews, and they do. They like that stuff. So again, I appreciate it.
Kirk Zink, head coach for the Hillsboro-Central Valley cross country team, joining us for the final time this fall season. Again, congratulations to the HCV Borough girls cross country team, your state champions for 2024. Claire Grundy, your individual state champion for 24, and the boys team finishing in 6th. Kirk, thanks so much.
Thanks, James.
Live, work, and play here in Hillsboro, North Dakota. The Hillsboro Economic Development Committee can assist you with information and support for business and housing. Experience Hillsboro. More at 104.
As we continue on the YourLiveEvent.com Coaches Show, joining us here from the Fargo Shanley Deacons, she's the head coach. That is Taylor Preston joining us here. And Taylor, crazy to think we're at this time of the season. Halloween's tomorrow. You got a handful of volleyball matches left before you get ready for postseason play. But your team's obviously been awfully good throughout the course of the year, already 20-plus wins, on the season. What, I guess, from a trait or characteristic do you like best about this year's version of Fargo Shanley's volleyball team?
Yeah, said it before, but teamness is kind of what we kind of drilled into them from the summer on, is if you guys can find a way to battle for each other, fight for each other, care for each other, when we see adversity against, some teams, it's that's just going to help us in the long run. So I think, obviously not to get into that, but we took obviously a loss to Horace, and that team battled, and they knew exactly what to do against us. And we talked as a team, and it's we kind of faltered on the teamness that night. And again, it's a loss is a loss, but it's how you learn from it. So I think even from that game on, it was the last week was focus on the team and what can we do for each other, and how are you guys going to play for each other. So I think that was something with, losing 7 seniors last year who really just, they embodied what Shanley was, the leadership and the work ethic. And it's this year was kind of a building year, only bringing back 4 returning, varsity players, and, having them be leaders to step up for the younger kids on our team. So I think it's just been continuing to embody the fact that you guys are out there on the court, you guys got to play for each other. That's all that matters. So as a coaching staff, we're going to continue to do that. And that's just going to be the conversation. And then I guess, their thing that they've said aside from teamness is have fun. Just that's why we're playing volleyball, is to have fun. It doesn't need to be so stressful and tense. Just play volleyball. And so again, as a coaching staff, we're just, all we want is for them to have a good time. And again, wins and losses, wins are great, losses suck, but it's how you react to them the next day and, how you show up. And I think they've done a really good job of that as a team and like the unity that they have, for those core, 8 people that are playing, and then everyone on the bench as well has just stepped up. So it's been really cool to see as a coach.
You take a look, and a nice one over Grand Forks River. 3 matches, all against different styles, coming up here with West Fargo, Cheyenne tomorrow night, Valley City and Fargo Davies to close out the regular season for you here, Taylor. So I guess first things first, what do you want to see from your girls in the last couple of matches where Cheyenne, obviously you and them have been neck and neck all season in the EDC. Valley City is a scrappy team, and Davies obviously has been awfully good in their own right this season.
Absolutely. I mean, I think every coach knows this, and like, your best, what you can wish for is like, you might have a slower start to the season, and same with middle of the season, but like the last 4 weeks, 3 weeks, we're at 3.5 left now. It's like, this is where it counts. You could have lost every game the beginning of the year going into the middle of the season, and if you can turn it on, like, it's anyone's game. So I think our mindset is like, obviously we had a hot start, and it is hard for a team to maintain that and like the level of pressure that comes with it. So that's why it's kind of been like important for us and the girls to realize that, losses are going to happen. So I think knowing that, one, we have to show up for Valley City, like, seeing, that they took a win last night. So like that's great for them. Like, they're, like you said, they're a scrappy team. They show up, they have to work, like they work very hard. So, and playing on the road is never easy for anyone, especially when you have to travel. So, we're just game by game trying to focus on, obviously tomorrow is super important. It's a battle with Cheyenne, and we obviously always have fun playing them, and they're an outstanding team. So I think the mindset tonight is just, let's go off the win from yesterday and like, the good vibes that are happening, and have a good practice. And then let's hopefully show up tomorrow and just, hopefully keep rolling. But again, if we don't take it, it's probably going to come down to the fact that Cheyenne worked harder and they picked apart our defense, and it is what it is. But then we have something to work on, right? So I think it's just going to be maintaining and understanding that it's game by game, and every game counts from here on out. Like, it really does. We want to win the rest of them and secure like our spot, but if not, then we just have to work even harder in the tournament time. So
before we get to one or two of your individuals here, Taylor, let's talk about Cheyenne, because anybody who has watched Class A volleyball the last couple of years, it seems like the Deacons and the Mustangs have been neck and neck playing in that championship of state last year at the Fargo Dome, obviously the EDC tournament as well. So what has made, as much as you do have rivalries with other teams, what has made this one a fun rivalry to be a part of with the Deacons and the Mustangs, what Coach Leah Newton brings, what you guys bring to the table as well?
Absolutely. I mean, Leah Noon's a great coach, and she's made some very mentally tough kids. I think like they're hard to play against. I mean, they're pretty sound, and like they show up every game, in my opinion, and it's never easy to play them. I think the rivalry is fun because it's like, last year was tough. You lose to them in EDC championship, then you lose to them in the state championship. And that makes it like all more like special, I think, for our girls. Like, the first time we beat them and then we play them in the tournament. I wasn't there for that because I had a wedding, but, I got to watch it, and, Cheyenne comes hot every single time, and I think those type of games where it's like you have that, I don't know, I want to use the wrong word, but like just that urge to beat each other, like you're always going to have a good battle. And I think tomorrow's going to be absolutely fun and a game to watch. And man, it's all in the preparation. I hope that we prepare well tonight and we can be good for tomorrow. But again, we're gonna have to work our butts off to pull out a win tomorrow for sure.
When someone gets to 1,000 or 2,000 in volleyball, obviously it's been a pretty special career and or season for them as well. Ella Stimpson's knocking on the door of 2,000 career assists. So what does that just kind of mean from the program? What does she provide to the team, and just kind of having that steady leadership as well here with Ella?
Absolutely. I mean, we had senior night last night, and just hearing, from the girls, and their perspective on Ella as a player, like she was, commended for the fact that she is always calm, even in adversity. When we're in those, tougher matches, we're down by 6 points. Like, she is always smiling. She's the sweetest kid, and, she deserves it. She works her butt off. She cares, not, she's a really selfless player. It's not really about the assists for her. It's, she knows she couldn't have done it without that good pass or that good dig, or, you know, her hitters that go put it down. So I think it's just cool though for her to be recognized, because 2,000 assists is insane. Like it's great for her. It shows what she's done in her career, the like work she's put in, and to close it out her senior year, like that's awesome. And then going back on obviously she hit her 1,000 mark last season, and then Clara Robin hit her 1,000 dig mark at the very end of last season as well. So we actually got to honor both of them at the beginning of the year, first home game, and then now for her to, you know, close it out with 2,000, and that should happen. That she's 4 away, so that will happen tomorrow, which is really excited, and I'm pumped to honor her, and just, you know, she's gotta feel good about it, and we're gonna hype her up. So yeah.
What do you see with the EDC, with the level of competition? I mean, obviously Horace as a D1, you know, basketball player, and Jaden Hale that people have talked about. So obviously an athlete in her own right, but then you've just seen the level of competition of girls going on to play collegiately, whether it's JUCO to D2 to D1, you get to see a different level of volleyball. So how has the brand of volleyball in the EDC been tailored, just in terms of coaching against it, knowing that on any given night, there's probably a really good back row player, there's 1 or 2 really good hitters, whether they run a 6-2 or 6-1, there's really good setters. Doesn't seem like there's a ton of weakness, so to speak, you know, up and down the teams, you know, in EDC in the last couple of years.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was in the EDC, 12 years ago was my senior year, I think. 12 years. Like the level of volleyball has, us coaches say it too, because some of us have, you know, played, you know, at Shanley North, West Fargo. Like it's changed so much. The game has gotten faster. The girls have gotten better, more athletic. The IQ of volleyball is just, I mean, it's exponential compared to what it was, you know, 10 plus years ago. So, you know, as a past player and like coach now, it's like cool to see. And it's also, it makes every game even, you know, more fun, because really every team is good. Like, and we've talked about it, you know, with the girls and with the coaching staff. I mean, it's really anyone's game. Anything can happen. So it's really important for, I mean, if any team wants to go to state, like they got to show up, and they got to put in work, because there is anyone that's even at the, you know, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th mark, anything can happen. You know, they can take someone's spot. So I think it's something not to shy away from, because I think if you do, you know, you'll be like my senior year where, you know, you're ranked 2nd the entire year in conference and you don't go to state. And that's probably one of the things I never want to see kids do, especially, you know, at the caliber that they are. So I think it's just the being open about it and understanding that, like, you got to push the next 3 weeks. Like, these teams are good, and it is cool to see as a coach. Like, I mean, the level of volleyball, I wish it was like that back then.
Final thing for me, Taylor, and kind of maybe goes to what you alluded to, I guess, from when you played to where they are now. What's the biggest difference in the players that you see? Is it just the speed of the game, the transition, maybe just the heavy ball that we are able to see, you know, attackers have on the outside or middle? Is it a better block? All of the above, I guess. Where is just the better level of competition from, you know, a decade ago to kind of where we are now?
Honestly, I mean, all of the above is what you said, but I mean, the speed of the game, the mechanics that, you know, coaches are teaching, and the amount of work that these girls put in, not just in season, but a lot of it goes into off season. Like the clubs that they're playing on, those coaches do an outstanding job. And I mean, the level, I think, of coaching has gone up, and like, you know, the expectations as well for like coaches, and, you know, trying to match, like bringing things to the table that are going to match what the level of play these girls are at. And I mean, heck, I've seen some of the club teams around here too, and gotten to watch, you know, girls from all over North Dakota play together, and, you know, see my girls play with, you know, Cheyenne girls, West Fargo girls, Davies girls. It's cool to see that they can, you know, once volleyball season's over for high school, they can come together and, like, you know, they work on their craft as a whole. And I think it just comes down to the coaching and the amount of volleyball reps they're getting. I mean, some of these volleyball kids, like, they're playing 3 sports, but they're still, you know, during basketball season, they're still getting into the gym and playing volleyball. They're getting reps, they're getting, you know, personal, you know, lessons and all of that, which, I mean, I think that's really cool. That wasn't really a thing for like us back then. So I think that's just helped. And I think it's just the athleticism. Like, you know, like I said, a lot of these girls are playing 2-3 sports, and they're nonstop all the time. And, you know, I commend them for that, because it's a lot, and to manage school and everything. I mean, you just got different players, I think, in the mindset, and kudos to their parents too for pushing them, and, you know, being a sounding board for them. And it's cool to see how athletics have transformed in the last 10 years for North Dakota. It's really cool to see as a coach.
Taylor, thanks so much for your time. Best of luck tomorrow night against the Mustangs and throughout the rest of the season here before you get to that EDC tournament.
Yeah, awesome. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time.
Treat yourself to a great career at American Crystal Sugar Company. Team up with quality people making quality products. Full-time and year-round in a stable business. With great pay and benefits, including time off available from day one. American Crystal Sugar Company invests in you to promote your continued growth and career advancement. Grow your career, doing your best work within the world's best beet sugar company. Apply online today at AmericanCrystalCareers.com.
Don't be fooled by that beat-up old cap. Its faded crown represents the tireless work of America's farmers and ranchers. Its sturdy brim, their dedication to providing our nation with a safe, affordable food source. So we'd like to tip our hat to them. Farmers Union Insurance, protecting those that protect America's food source.
Visit with Ryan Opdahl, your local Farmers Union Insurance agent in Hillsboro.
Growers, prepare your fields and yields against the wet conditions for 2025 and beyond with a drain tile project from Chad's Excavating out of Mayville. Drain tiling will improve and increase your yields and land values for years to come. Chad's Excavating provides free, detailed estimates, and with over 40 years of combined success, they provide professional installation and service. Call Chad today to prepare for your future and any questions that you might have. That's Chad's Excavating out of Mayville, helping farmers grow.
Post-game coaches interviews, and I guess, Coach, your thoughts on the win tonight. And Coach Carrie Soley, she came up here. Her first word was wild, is what she said. What did you think of tonight?
I would agree. That was a good adjective. Yeah, it felt pretty intense. And, I guess that's what you should expect, though, in a playoff game between two competitive teams. And it was what we needed because we haven't gone to a fourth set. And I'm glad that we were pushed and that we still, we handled it. So it was good. It was wild, but it was good.
And the loss in, what was it, set number 2, that was only your first loss or second loss to a Section 8A opponent all season long. So you guys really facing some adversity. And honestly, at one point it felt like you guys were going to go down 2-0.
Yes. And early on in the year, after last season, we had talked about those close games. Like, we needed to be the team, since we were veterans coming back, the same crew, that in those, they couldn't panic. They had to deep breathe and pull out a big set.
Yep.
And so they did that tonight. And so after that was in the first set, when they pulled that, came from behind and won. It was like, you wouldn't have done that last year. And they recognized that, and so that was a good thing for us.
Well, it's like we said in the pregame show when you guys played Red Lake Falls, and the postgame show too, that the chemistry and not graduating any seniors last year, it can carry you a little bit, and it's so helpful.
Right. No. And, our defensive specialists, oh my gosh, I was so proud of them tonight. Most of them are just in like the 3 rotations, but they were so important in our energy tonight and talking to the team and keeping them motivated, even when they were on the bench. I want to give them such a big squeeze. I'm so proud of them tonight. And from the change from last year to how they handled that this year, they're mature. It was so fun to see.
Well, let's talk about your opponent now for the section title, Ada Borup West. You got to see them for most of their semifinal game. I think you guys are sitting courtside, of course, but what do you see against the Cougars that makes them so tough, and what's their biggest challenge against them?
Well, they've got 2 really tall girls, and they both set and they both hit. And so when they're in system and they've got one of those big hitters in the front row, even if we kind of, where it's going, she's capable of hitting right over blockers. And so, the goal has to be to keep them out of system as much as possible, to capitalize on rotations where she isn't in the front, where there isn't one in the front row, things like that. So, we'll be trying to pay attention and break down what we need to do per rotation against them.
Well, sounds good, Coach. I appreciate you coming up here. A wild game, like we said, tonight against Fertile Beltrami. And we'll see you in the championship, and good luck.
Thank you very much.
All right, Tina Turn, the head coach of the Kittson County Central Bearcats with us.
LiveEvent.com. The Hawley Nuggets advance to the section championship game. Kathleen Rustad for the Nuggets. And, Coach, first off, congratulations. A hard-fought victory here tonight.
Hard-fought battle, all 5 sets, both sides.
Yeah, talk about that. You know, when it goes 5 sets, and it just kind of felt, here as a broadcaster, I was having fun calling. I know the fans were having it right there. Is that a game that just kind of feels fun as it kind of goes along?
You bet it does. I think I said that. Did you see me mouthing that on the bench? I'm like, guys, these games are fun, back and forth, battling back and forth. And seeing the kids overcome, some challenges on the court. It's fun. This is a fun game, and I'm really happy for both of these. I'm happy for the girls because they played well. I mean, I think Medina played excellent. They played way better than the time we played them before, so it was a battle. Yeah, it was a great battle out there.
Yeah, kind of talk about those challenges. I know when we talked with Adrina as well, set number 4, not how you kind of wanted it to go, but just talk about what was going on in the locker room and kind of the adjustment, the changes, and that energy they were able to bring in set number 5.
We had some calls made against us. We had some unforced errors, plenty of unforced errors, which is in our control. And we talked about that. We said we got to get that momentum. Just really fine-tune the things, whether it's double calls or whether it's slicing the ball out of bounds or hitting in the net or, passing, whatever it is. Just find focus, get a reset, and then let's all together get some momentum going into the end. We maybe weren't going to win, maybe they thought we were or not, but every ball matters. You probably heard them say that too. It just comes down to that one ball.
Yeah, absolutely, and able to keep your season alive for one more game. Talk about going up against DGF, battle 1 versus 2 coming here Saturday night.
Yeah, that'll be an exciting battle. We saw DGF earlier in the season. We were coming off some injuries. The girls, I would say, probably had a little room for improvement at that point, and I think DGF did too, but I hope it's going to be another battle on Saturday night.
Yeah, absolutely should be fun. Kathleen, thanks so much for joining us here. Congratulations on the victory. Good luck Saturday.
Thank you. Go Nuggets.
Right. Absolutely.
Live, work, and play here in Hillsboro, North Dakota. The Hillsboro Economic Development Committee can assist you with information and support for business and housing. Experience Hillsboro. More at 104.
Lisa, again, your team was a little bit on the ill side, injured side, coaches as well, so maybe didn't know how this one was going to go, but I'd say mission accomplished, and you're playing your best volleyball at the right time.
The girls, they just really came through tonight, and like Jordan said, the energy that they brought tonight and last night too really makes the difference. Like she said, we were beating ourselves up before. We'd make a mistake and then lament over it for hours instead of just letting it go. And so now that we're able to let it go a little bit and move on and go forward, we've had so many discussions about that we just got to go forward and keep going. And this is what they do. And I told them, I said, I knew that this was what you're capable of. And so here's what we are.
Let's talk about some individual performances here tonight. Jordan Tozer, player of the game tonight. Got to be impressed with her play tonight.
Oh, definitely. And Jordan hurt her ankle the other night, and she didn't play last night because of it. So we're very pleased that she was able to get on the floor again tonight. She just brings another dimension to the game, whether it's her blocking or hitting or even her serving now. She's really taken that on too. And so it's great to have her on the floor doing whatever she can.
Jordan mentioned Abby Olson, and I feel like in the games that I've seen this year especially, Abby's maybe been a little bit frustrated with herself about hitting the balls out of bounds, not placing them, but tonight she found more of the right places than the not right places.
Oh, yeah, definitely. She's just been improving all the way along, and, we talked about her last night too. She just has changed her mentality toward the game, and she's now looking forward instead of looking, we talked about we can't look in the rearview mirror, we got to use the windshield. And so that was one thing that we all worked on, and everybody was part of that. So Abby has really changed her game that way, and she's just, looking forward to the next play next play mentality.
Couple other ladies I want to make note of. One that maybe doesn't get all the accolades, but Kylie Hubner certainly had a phenomenal night tonight with 7 kills herself.
Yeah, and Kylie's been coming on, and just she's making such smart plays. You know, she can figure out how to get the ball over the net. That's what she does best. You know, sometimes it's her hitting, and sometimes just playing that third ball over. Yeah, she's done a great job for us. And then her back row play has picked up as well. Her serve receive and her back row, she plays left back most of the time, and she's been there. And you know, they got a few on us, but they got some good hitters, and definitely, you know, they would look over at me and I'd be like, that's just a good kill. We got to let that go. Don't worry about it. And you know, give them their due when they get those good ones.
Couple of more notes. Andy Schwab, a utility belt type of night, 4 kills, 3 aces, half blocks, and big digs, and some big moments for her as well.
Yeah, you know, Andy too, she's been coming along and just getting more and more confident in her play, and that's made a huge difference, you know, with her when she starts just swinging at the ball. For a long time, she just, you know, took the I don't know, safe way, and she would push the ball, and she was great at it. But, you know, we've been telling her hit. And so now that she's hitting the ball, it's just changed her game a whole lot.
I think the biggest thing, having Kaya Hurst back in the lineup, of course, we're happy that it seems like everything went well on the medical side,
Yep.
and she's back at it, and certainly looking at her best this year.
Yeah, she had a quick little surgery, and amazingly, she was back on the court within a week. And so, you know, we're really glad to see her back to her old self. I mean, she played on that Friday against Grafton, but she was a little tentative and a little sore still. But now she says she feels, you know, 100%, and she's ready to go. So it's good to have her back on the floor. She's just such a good leader back there too. She talks to the hitters all the time, and all of that helps everything. You know, we just feed off what she says, and like when she yells line, Abby hits line.
And, of course, lots of other great performances individually here tonight. We could talk for a long time about all the ins and outs of the Thompson Tommy girls volleyball team. And, of course, great opportunity here to really go into that region tournament with a lot of momentum, with very winnable matchups against Larimore, Cavalier, and Central Cass on the schedule.
Yeah, well, and the region tournament is going to be phenomenal. I mean, all the teams are, you know, the top 5 are interchangeable any day, and so everybody that you know, everybody every day has to show up and play. And so it's going to be such a fun tournament that way, because there's going to be a lot of competition on the floor.
That's head coach Lisa Strand joining us here on our post game. Again, Lisa, thanks for the time, and we'll see you down the road, definitely the region tournament.
Thank you, and thank you again for your live event and everything they do.
There's more at 104. Hillsboro, North Dakota has everything you need on your next road trip. Food, fuel, fun, and family-friendly activities. Stop by and fill up your tank, or grab a bite to eat. Have a blast at Goose River Golf Club, the swimming pool, or one of our beautiful parks. There's even ice skating and cross-country skiing. Take in the sights or stay the night so you don't miss a thing. Experience Hillsboro and see why there's more at 104.
You know, parenting is hard for all of us. And so providing those little resources that we can share for those conversations that are hard to have, and to kind of be that icebreaker for both professionals, parents, and then open up that conversation to the more engaging conversation that's needing to be had.
Being a parent myself, oftentimes it's the simple things that make a difference.
As a busy parent myself, just engaging with your kids, making it an everyday thing so they know that you're there, they can always come to you when those difficult situations do arise.
Contact Trail District Health Unit in Hillsboro for more information.
Sharing our heritage, sharing our future. Choosing the right bank for your financial needs can be challenging with the many choices available. Dakota Heritage Bank is pleased you're interested in knowing more about what they can do for you. The Dakota Heritage Bank community bank setting is a strong advantage they have over larger, less personal banks. Customers are more than account numbers, they are friends and neighbors. Working together, Dakota Heritage Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Well, join us part of this week's edition of the Senior Spotlight. We kind of put a bow on the boys soccer season here in North Dakota, and it's the Senior Gatorade Athlete of the Year from the West Fargo Packers. Desire Masiri joined us here. And for you here, Desire, just what does it mean first and foremost, before we talk about the season and everything else, what does it just mean to get recognized as the Senior Athlete of the Year for you here in North Dakota in boys soccer?
It's an honor to be a senior athlete. I really didn't expect it at all. So it's an honor to be named a senior athlete. Means a lot to me, my family, and I. Actually, 2022, my brother got close, but he lost. But I just feel I'm happy. So yeah, that's all I gotta say about this.
And let's just talk about the season. First things first, you got to get the state, and you had a really nice regular season EDC conference champs. To go out as conference champs is just kind of what it mean your senior year for you and the club.
We really worked hard as a team. I want a lot of people didn't believe in us. I would say that. So what we pulled off was something a lot of people wouldn't believe us doing. So like, I'm proud of the team. I'm proud of everybody on the team for actually working hard and what we did. Yeah, it's something great, something to witness. So yeah.
For Coach Matt Crawford, just kind of what's one thing that you kind of learned from him and the coaching staff that you hope to take with you, outside of the game of soccer that you kind of use on your day-to-day life?
Discipline. I'll take that from them. Taught me a lot of discipline in staying focused, keep going, no matter what, even if it's hard, easy, whatever it is, just keep going. So that's one thing I'll take pretty much my whole life going. Yeah, it's just amazing. So what they've taught us, and yeah.
And then you were able to find yourself into the state championship. I know it didn't go your way, but to go out and play in a state championship, just take us through that run that your team and yourself were able to make at that state tournament. And what are you going to kind of remember most about the Packers here this season?
Even though it didn't go well, I would say that was a good game. The amount of chances we created, we played as a team. It just didn't go our way. That's the beauty of soccer. I mean, it's all right. But I'm really proud of the team, and what we did this year was amazing. Again, a lot of people didn't believe in us, so like seeing what we did just makes me proud, and best team I've played with so far. So,
Desire, as we kind of continue to go from there, what's a trait or characteristic that best describes this year's West Fargo boys soccer team to win a conference championship, to be, state runner-up? What's a trait or characteristic that best describes this year's team for you?
I would say very hardworking. We push through and we work hard for every game, every practice, work hard, and I would say that's the main characteristic we have. So, yeah, I'll say working hard.
You're heading to the North Dakota State College of Science down in Wahpeton as a diesel technician. Just kind of what made NDSCS in that particular field kind of stand out for you to learn a little bit more?
Well, it's a pretty good program. I've had a lot of field trips down there, and it's pleasant. Well, it sucks that it's not here in Fargo, but I really love their program down there, their scholarships, their just the way they treat the students down there. So, yeah, that's what made me go towards it.
Favorite sporting memory? What just kind of is one or two favorite sporting memories, whether you're competing, if it's something with family and friends that you went to a game or went to a match, just what's one or two sporting memories that you enjoyed the most?
For us, West Fargo, we have this kind of party after like not every week, but around like once a month at least. We go out as a team and we play FIFA, we eat food, and we have fun. It's just one of the best memories I could possibly ever have. And the bus rides to Grand Forks Central is just the best. So I got the most out of the season this year, and couldn't ask for a greater season. So
For your desire here, kind of taking a look forward to what's been a class or what's been someone at West Fargo High that you enjoyed most from a teacher standpoint, or what's been a class that you enjoyed most learning about or studying at West Fargo?
I'll say Tanner Noonan is my rec engines teacher. I would say since I got his class last year, since there is rec engines 2, I took it again, and I feel like I learned a lot from him, and he has taught me a lot. And yeah, I'll probably say Tanner Noonan.
From
Good
us.
life advancement. Yeah.
From a soccer standpoint, I was going to say, what is something that you enjoyed most out on the soccer field? Was it scoring goals? Was it making a really good tackle? Was it making a good pass or cross into the box? So what's something from soccer that you really enjoyed most?
I would say the tackles most, because well, that's my job and I like doing it. So yeah, and the tackles for me and the long crosses, it's just satisfying to watch. So I would say those two are the best things I could do on the field. So yeah.
What has a soccer kind of given to you, your family, and some of your friends, but more importantly, just to you here? What has soccer kind of given you?
It's just everything right now for me. I'm hoping to go pro or get chances or somewhere. Yeah, and it's just keeps me in shape, and love the sport, love the way it is, the technicality. I watch soccer every day, so like it means a lot, and I would not want to lose it at all. So yeah.
For you, Desire, traits, not so much traits, but superstitious. Was there anything that you had to do before a soccer match? Did you have to put the right shoe on before the left, or listen to a certain kind of music before you finally got to that very first kick? And once the ball got going, anything kind of come to mind?
One thing that was strange is so it started beginning of the season where it was just an accident. I put on the wrong sock on the left, the wrong sock on the right, and since then I just never put on the right sock, any pair of socks at all. So it just that's how it was. I just put on different colored socks on each foot. Yeah.
Final thing for me here, just obviously you still got a few more months left here of high school. So what are you most looking forward to here a couple more months before everything kind of wraps up with graduation, in May and June for you?
Well, I'm looking forward to the club soccer. I play for TC United, and it's really fun, and the opportunities we get is a lot, and I appreciate that. And track and field as well. Since I do track, I'm gonna have fun with that too. So yeah. I'm really hoping to all that. It's gonna be fun. Last year of high school. Yeah, looking great right now.
Hey, Desire, thank you so much for your time, and best of luck here for the rest of your senior year with West Fargo.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
That again does it for the YourLiveEvent.com Coaches Show here on this Wednesday night. Join us again as we turn the calendar to November. Our next Coaches Show will be on November the 6th. Again, the YourLiveEvent.com Coaches Show, presented to you by the Hillsboro Economic Development Corporation. I'm Chase Miller. Enjoy the rest of your night.